All right, guys, Treadmill Talks. Today we're going to go through a walk through some nice mountains here. I think it's like Nepal Mountains or something. But we're going to talk about this actually goes for men and women on this one. It's how to keep your partner happy, or vice versa, how to not ruin it by making them feel used and taken advantage of. And this is it's like number 2 or number 3 on relationship killers. And this is one that I learned just this last year. And it's the problem of human normalization. And it's kind of like it's a coping mechanism that humans evolved with, which is also our biggest enemy. And it's a big pro and a big con at the same time, right? So let's get into it. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Let's grow this channel. Get this information out to more people if you found it helpful. Now, human normalization is a big problem. And I'll tell you, in a nutshell, what human normalization is I call it the air conditioning concept. So if you're a dude and you're driving through the Sahara Desert, right, and you've never had air conditioning before, I'm sure everyone can relate to this too, right? That when you first get air conditioning, it's life-changing. You can't believe you lived without it that whole time. But now, you have a perception of what air conditioning is like. And now, if you don't know if you could ever go back to not having air conditioning. You see where I'm going with this, right? So it's almost better to have never experienced air conditioning so that you don't know what it actually feels like. The normalization part of that is over time, your body got used to the air conditioning and it started to expect the air conditioning. So now if your air conditioning breaks down and you no longer have it, you are now angry that you have to go back to the non-air conditioning ways. Your brain doesn't actually remember that you used to be happy without that. So humans, it's a concept where if you take something away from a human, they get really angry, right? Humans don't like to lose things, but they like to gain things, right? So, the reason of how this affects relationships, I can already kind of tell you. You can probably already tell where this video is going, right? So, how this affects relationships, I'll give you my personal story here this last year. So I was dating this girl for a while, and what had happened was I make pretty decent cash. I'm not like, it's not crazy, but it's enough for a family, right? And she was supporting her family on one income in a very altruistic way, right? Like her family, I'm trying to be as vague as possible in case somebody ever does watch these videos. But her family they're kind of not the smartest cookies in the jar, if you know what I'm saying. So anyway, but she's a very smart cookie. So anyway, it's funny that the well-being of the family had kind of fallen to her shoulders because she is the competent one. The curse of the competent. Maybe we'll do a video on that one again in another video. I guess I relate to this girl because I've always been the used and abused one because of how competent I am. When you're very generally competent, everyone around you takes advantage of you, right? They don't care about you, but they want to use your skills for their own benefit, right? So that's what happened to this girl. She was supporting her family on her income, right? So anyway, I really like that about her. I was like, okay, well, damn, that seems like a green flag, doesn't it? So I was like, she she sees that her family's burden are on her shoulders, and she kind of just like manned up to handle it, right? So I was like, okay, that sounds like a green flag, right? Now, fast forward about, you know, 6 months or so, and I started to pay. Let me backtrack. When we first started seeing each other, it was 50-50 for like the dates and all that stuff. It was no problem. So I knew she wasn't there for the money. And in fact, she had no idea I even had money. We'll save that for another video too, where you never ever lead with money, so that you know that they just enjoy your company, right? So anyway, I'm like, well, I can see this girl, I care about this girl by this point. I'm like, I can see that she's struggling financially. Even though she makes good money, it's more that her entire family is sucking her dry because of their uselessness, right? So I'm like, well, it's also not my problem, but I care about her. So what I decided to do at that point was I'll pay for all of our dates together, like our dinners and our trips and our night outs and our activities and stuff, because that amount of money is so infinitesimal to me. It's like an extra $30 per date or whatever. I don't care, right? And that wouldn't. And then in my mind, I'm like, that would mean a lot to her, because then she wouldn't be so stressed out and financially pressured to try to keep up dating a guy and taking care of her family. Again, all green flags. You think it's all good stuff, right? So anyway, then fast forward another 6 months of me paying for everything. Oh yeah, another thing. In the back of my mind, I've always kind of been traumatized about being the competent one. So whenever somebody doesn't say thank you for something that I do for them, I immediately cut them off. Like, at no point will I ever accept lack of gratitude, right? For the things that I do for people. That's just my boundary. It's like, if I do something for you, you don't expect it, and you have to say thank you. If you don't, I just won't do it. Right? I just won't be your friend. So anyway, I'll never forget, we were out at like a carnival, and she said thank you every time. It was all good and gravy. She would try and make it up in other ways, like cook me food, cook me nice snacks, like low carb snacks and stuff. So you could tell she was compensating with value in a different way. Again, another green flag, right? Now, I'll never forget, one time we were at a carnival and I paid for our like food truck food, and that was the first time I noticed. I'm very perceptive that way. First time I noticed she didn't reach for her wallet, which immediately like lightning bolted my brain to being like, she expected me to pay. I was like, this has been normalized now, about 6 months later. And I was like, this is bad. This is really bad, right? Because, and how do you think this relationship blew up? For the exact same reason. But I was like, I actually called her out on it. I'm like, yo, I noticed that you didn't reach for your wallet. She did say thank you though, but I'm like, I noticed you didn't reach for your wallet this time. That's the first time you did that. And then we had a long discussion about gratitude and not taking advantage of a person, etc., right? Anyway, even though this is the crazy thing about human normalization. You can bring it. It's not like, here's the thing. It's not like that person did it on purpose. It's just that they got used to the air conditioning. They're not like a malicious person. Every human would do that. The how you would reverse that would be like if a woman is cooking a meal or a dinner for a guy every night when he got home from work and he slowly stopped saying thank you. How many times has that happened, right? It goes both ways. When you're consistently doing something for somebody, it starts to become expected behavior and not appreciative behavior. It's like, so then the guy comes home from work one day and dinner is not made. Well, he's not going to remember what it was like before she started making the dinners. He's only going to remember the one time she didn't, right? It's a big problem. Causes a fight. Now she doesn't feel appreciated, and he doesn't remember all the other 500 times that she did make dinner, right? It goes both ways. So anyway, back to the story. Fast forward another couple of months or whatever, and it's like whenever you bring that awareness to somebody, they always seem to fix their behavior for a few months, and then it gets renormalized again once they forget about it, right? Again, normal human behavior. That's why I don't think bringing it up actually works, because that's what I just tried and it didn't work, right? I kept bringing up the point of, hey, if you want me to keep doing this, you need to keep saying thank you and reach for your wallet so that I know you're not using me, right? Anyway. Fast forward another couple of months. She scheduled an expensive Asian restaurant for us. And it was all like weird shit that I wouldn't eat, like chicken feet and like liver and like guts and shit, like just like weird. Like I'm a white guy, for God's sakes, right? Anyway, I get to the table. I'm like, I'm not eating this. Why are we here, right? She's like, it's good, try it. I'm like, no, I don't want this. I'm like, you should have known better, right? And then me saying, you should have known better, triggered her because she thought that I was being unappreciative of her putting in the effort to schedule the dinner, right? Now, the nail in the coffin that did it for me there was, I said, okay, how about you pay for this one then, because I know I'm not gonna like it. Seems legit. It was very expensive, to be fair. So I kind of knew that she could have afforded it, but I knew it would hit her finances quite hard. Honestly, who the hell pays that much for chicken feet, man? Like, I can't believe restaurants like that even exist, okay? Anyway, so she says, what did she say? She just kind of stayed silent and didn't say anything. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just get out of here then. You can blame the white guy for not liking the menu on the way. She didn't want to be embarrassed, right? So I literally just walked out. She got embarrassed because I'm not paying for that shit, right? Anyway, the nail in the coffin there was that, for me, she had made an appointment at that restaurant expecting me to pay. She didn't, the concept of her paying didn't occur to her head at all. And when I said, you can pay for this one because I don't want to eat this, it's like taking the air conditioning away. And now the person gets resentful. So this time, my failure was me thinking that if I just kept bringing it up back to her awareness, it would fix the problem, which it doesn't. Learned that one the hard way, right? Didn't fix the problem. The next time, I'm not too sure what to try, to be honest, because it's such a fascinating conundrum, because you would think that, I told her this all the time too. I'm like, I'm gonna pay for everything. While I'm paying for everything, you get your emergency fund up, and you take care of your family, and you like get your shit together. So our relationship isn't stressful on you financially, right? So you would think that that's a very altruistic and generous thing to do as a man for a woman, right? And you would think that they would be grateful for that in perpetuity, logically speaking. But it doesn't work that way. The air conditioning is too strong, man. The air conditioning's too strong. So anyway, going forward, you know how there was that old Royce rule where you only ever give 1/3 of what the woman gives you? Maybe that's what they were talking about, right? Which is so stupid. But I guess that's the only way to counteract this air conditioning problem, where you could even go 2/3 the other way too. But let's say, I'll have to test this and get back to you guys. But like, let's say you start dating a girl. Maybe what I could have done differently is, instead of paying for everything, I could have gotten her to pay like once every 2 or 3 times. Not 50-50, but like 70-30 or something. And then the idea there is, you need to like make it so her brain never gets used to the air conditioning. Do you know what I'm saying? It's almost like you have to do this repeated give and take for the other human so that they never expect the behavior. And then this goes for men and women too. So it's like, maybe a woman cooks dinner 4 times out of the week, and then the 5th time she tells her man, hey, grab takeout on the way home. I was busy. You can't just be generous with your time with another human in perpetuity, because it will just it will slowly just constantly build resentment the more that person gets used to the air conditioning. It's a big problem, man. And then, so here's the thing. If I think back to all my relationships, it's always been that way. So just thinking that you need to find trust me, this girl is very intelligent. But thinking that, and you know what, I actually caught myself doing it a couple of times, because she would go out of her way to bake me like low carb snacks every weekend, and slowly I stopped appreciating it a little bit. And I caught myself too, where I'm like, uh-oh, I'm starting to expect these and not appreciate them, right? So I made sure to go out. And then here's the other thing. Even when she says thank you, that becomes normalized too. It's crazy, dude. So like, I would pay every single time we would go out for food or a date or whatever, and she would always say thank you. And then by like the 2nd or 3rd month, I would like start to like close the door before like the thank you got out of her mouth, because I was expecting the thank you, and then I stopped being grateful for the thank you. It's like this giant ass loop of like, yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. So anyway, and then so the problem I have with that is, what the hell do you do about that? So as a human, are we supposed to keep spreadsheets of like, I've done this many times, they stopped saying thank you around here, now I need to pull it away here so that they realize what they have, and then they don't get air conditions to it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much work do we need to put into these damn relationships to make them functional, man? The shit seems insane. So reminding them doesn't work. Maybe you just have to do the 2/3 rule where you pull something back. So anyway, that is a huge problem in relationships. It's a huge killer. Again, it goes both ways. What the argument of like just find someone more intelligent or just find someone more switched on. I don't think any human is immune to the normalization or the air conditioning problem. It goes for materialistic objects too, right? You buy a new house, it's awesome for 2 weeks, and then your brain normalizes it. You buy a new car. How many times have you have this happened to you, right? You buy a new car, it's cool for 2 weeks, normalized. You buy a new phone, normalized after 2 weeks. Like it literally, you move countries. You can move to a completely different country or state or province or whatever, and you'll adapt after like a month or whatever. You'll be like, okay, this is my new environment now. And again, we evolved that way. So, we'll think about humans in general, right? You have humans in Africa, you have humans in the Arctic, you have humans on islands in Hawaii and shit, right? You have humans everywhere. Everyone normalized to their environments. If we didn't have this mechanism, we wouldn't have survived. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not like a malicious, when somebody normalizes to behavior, it's not a malicious thing. It's normal. But it's that same normality that makes the other person feel so taken advantage of and, what's the word? Not ungrateful. God, what the heck's the word now? Do you know what I'm saying? I can't, the words slip my tongue right now. But anyway, unappreciated, sorry. The other person feels unappreciated. And then when a person feels unappreciated in a relationship, that's it, baby. They're gone. So I guess you could try doing it both ways, where like you pull what you give to the other person, pull it away 1/3 of the time, right? So it's not 50-50, especially if it's financial. On the flip side, if you are in a relationship and you want to make sure that your partner feels appreciated, you can do the inverse as well. Write down all the things that they did for you every day. Just like actually like be like realistic about it. It's like she cooked me dinner, she cleaned the house, she called the plumber to fix the toilet while I was at work, whatever. Write all that shit down. Then like once a week, once every 2 weeks or something, you can just be like, hey, I really appreciate these things that you did for me. Because if you don't write it down, it will get normalized. So you write that shit down. I appreciate all these things you did for me. I'm gonna take you out, as my show of gratitude, I'm gonna take you out and we're gonna do this. Because I appreciate you. And that's never happened to me, man. I've never done that, and that's never happened to me. Again, this is literally just like, these lessons that I'm learning are literally just this year. Because you guys know me, you have not experienced it unless you have tested it yourself. And just reminding the other partner that you're not feeling appreciated does not work. It doesn't work. The air conditioning gene is too strong, okay? It's too strong. The normalization will win. And again, here's the last thing I'll say about the normalization thing. The reason why we also normalize all that kind of stuff is because we have so much shit going on in our lives and only so much mental bandwidth to handle, right? So if Becky at work is yelling at you or your manager's giving you a hard time, the last thing that you're thinking about is all the things that your partner has done for you because you're so stressed out about that other crap, right? It's not like you have the time or the mental faculties to keep track of all those things that they've done for you. Now, you would say that, here's another thing. This is also why they say don't keep track, just appreciate the person. I'm not sure if that works either, I think it would take I'm not sure if that would work. You can't just be like, I appreciate you for reasons. The person will get normalized to that too, right? Yeah, this is a fascinating topic. Anyway, if you guys have encountered this problem, leave a comment down below. Tell me how you sorted it out, what your method was, if it was successful or not. Share the knowledge with others, because this is a real relationship killer. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it there for that one. Handle the normalization by giving and pulling so that the person never takes you for granted. I guess it's your job to make sure that you never get taken advantage of or that you feel unappreciated. Because the other human is living in their body and their mind, and how you feel is at the bottom of the list amongst all the other planetary stressors, right? All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe, share the content, and again, comment down below if you figured this one out. All right, guys, see you later.